It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right. Hello. Welcome in, everybody. Nice to have you here on the eve of regional baseball in Greenville. It is the Patrick Johnson Show here on 94.3 The Game. We're getting ready for ECU to open up play tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Steve and I go and hoist the colors will lead you in, and then Scooter and Mike Mullis. Mullis will join us a little later on in the show. We'll be on to talk about the regional, but those guys will bring you the blow-by-blow coverage of everything going on in the regional here in Greenville as number 16 seed nationally. ECU will try to break through to the super regional, where they more likely, if they were to be able to do that, would take on the top overall seed in Tennessee. It's nice to have you along on the Thursday ride. Final show for me of the week. Details on that in just a little bit. As Philip the Ref Pilkington will have the post game for you. Dom Kasolki is reporting.
I think we're going to lose.
Or producing.
I think we're going to lose.
And he is reporting later on in our Pirate Report. But right now we go to the phones. Very special guest. Pleasure to welcome at this time the man who will be calling for ESPN and ESPN Plus the regional in Greenville. He also is heard on our sister station, Talk 103.7 WTIB. He is Anish Shroff with ESPN and the Panthers Radio Network. Hey, Anish, thank you for doing this on the eve of the Super Regional. And I know it's a great time of year. Anytime you're involved in calling postseason games, it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sure is, man. And baseball regionals, I grew up a baseball fan first and foremost, and you know, regionals is such a great atmosphere, great environment. We know what the jungle's all about. So hopefully our cameras and our director captures the scenics, captures the atmosphere. You guys host pretty often, it feels like. And those are some of the best visuals the sport has to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a heck of an environment. It is quite a buzz around Greenville, as you can imagine. And East Carolina coming in tomorrow. It's always interesting. You see a lot of teams during the course of the season in all the different sports. So you know the meat of the matter is what you got to get to in television and tell those stories. When you look at the East Carolina team, what on the field and or off the field stands out from your perspective?
Yeah, the biggest thing is that this is a team that was probably a top 8 national seed a month or so ago, and then injuries hit their pitching staff hard. They feel that they're as healthy as they've been in a while with their pitching. Trey Savage, who's one of the 2 or 3 best pitchers in the country. We know he had the partially collapsed lung. He was hospitalized last week. He went through his bullpen. He looked really good. He's going to be a full go. There's no limits or handcuffs on him. They feel like Zach Root is finally healthy. They've got their closer back. They think he's progressing back to where he was a few months ago before getting hurt. So they kind of feel like, hey, we've got our full complement. We've got our full deck of cards. I know they're missing one of their starters who's out for the year, but they feel pretty good about this team going into this regional. There was a lot of talk of whether ECU should have hosted or, should they have gotten a host seat over somebody else. The reality is, this team healthy with a healthy pitching staff, they're every bit a top 16 seed. They're probably a top 8 seed, if not for the pitching injuries.
Yeah, absolutely. Anish Shroff will be on the call for ESPN, and you hear him on the Panthers radio network during the fall. Anish, let me ask you a little bit about Evansville, the Purple Aces. What has your deep dive shown you about Evansville, who beat the heralded Sycamores of Indiana State 2 out of 3 times and, of course, won that conference tournament?
Dangerous 4 seed in this regional. And when you look at, their arc this season, this was a veteran team. They got a bunch of 4th, 5th, even some 6th-year guys. they put together a heavyweight non-conference schedule. And they played Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, and they played a lot of the big boys. They got beat up early. They weren't all that healthy early in the season. Their first baseman, who kind of makes things go in that lineup, and then defensively, he was out a couple of times with a bicep injury. It forced them to reconfigure their infield defense, which really took a hit. He's now back, and he's healthy. They mashed in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. They beat a very good Indiana State team, a Sycamores team that, if they probably win the Missouri Valley Conference, they're one of the 16 regional hosts. So they're playing well. Again, it's sort of a theme in this regional. They got healthy at the right time, but this is a veteran team. And last year, they got close. They lost in their regional final or their conference tournament final to Indiana State. A lot of experience. And again, I think for a 4 seed, they're far from a pushover. They're far from a walkover in this regional.
Anish, when you talk about the other matchup, the 2 and the 3, let's start with VCU. I got ready twice for ECU VCU for ESPN
right.
Plus, and it never happened because it rained out, but that's the nature of this sport and this time of year. With that said, a scrappy team, but a talented team. And usually if you call someone scrappy, they're not real talented. This is a pretty talented Virginia Commonwealth group.
Yeah, they've got a second-year head coach. They've got a program that, over the last 10, 15 years has been a frequent visitor to the NCAA tournament. I look at their numbers, especially their offensive numbers, with a little bit of a grain of salt. They play at the same ballpark that the Giants AA affiliate, the Richmond Squirrels, play at.
Yep.
And it's got a lot of what San Francisco has, right? When it's warm outside, it's cold at the ballpark. The wind blows in. It's a pitcher's park. So you got to play differently. And sometimes you get a team like that, you put them at ECU, you put them at a hitter's ballpark, all of a sudden you go, whoa, they can mash. Their numbers, don't say that they can mash, but they've got some bats there, and I think pitching's a big question for them. They deploy their pitching a lot different than what you see around the country. There's no real hey, he's the Friday guy, he's the Saturday guy, he's the Sunday guy. They use what's called a pod philosophy. The Tampa Bay Rays kind of do it where, it's sort of a group of pitchers. Okay, you're going to go Friday, then you'll go Sunday, then we'll bring you back Tuesday. And then you got pod B, which, kind of fills in the interim there. And they've got one guy, Christian Gordon, who is kind of like their one true starter. But the guy who leads their team in innings pitched is a reliever. So what they want to do is just make it hard on these lineups. This is a pretty good offensive regional. They don't want their pitchers going through the lineup more than twice, ideally once, and you can get through 2 or 3 innings. So they're going to mix and match, and try to essentially finagle the regional that way without having, a true top of the rotation guy like you see with Savage, and certainly you'll see with Wake Forest and Burns.
We're talking to Anish Shroff, Panthers Radio Network, and he's also going to be working for ESPN this weekend on the regional broadcast. I know you got to go. I'm going to talk about Wake, but a couple things for VCU, and I know you know this because you're so well prepared. But Bradley LaCroix, Walla Halla, and you should know where that is. And then I can't believe they still play games in the Diamond. That's what the fact that is still an active park in Richmond is stunning. It was a dump 25 years ago.
And I
can only imagine what it is now. Yes, it's still a total dump. All right. Wake Forest is the Vegas favorite to win this regional, rightfully so. Burns is, if Savage is a top 15 pick, Burns is a top 10, top 12, top 15 pick as well. That could be a fun pitching matchup if it materializes.
I mean, last year in Omaha, we had Rhett Lauder and Paul Skeens, and that lived up every bit to the hype. One went 7 scoreless innings, the other went 8. You had an extra inning game. I'm not going to say this is going to be Ron Darling, Frank Viola from 1981, but this is the sort of pitching matchup you dream about. You put it in a time vault, and then 10 years down the road when who knows how their careers play out, but if they become what we think they can and they maximize their potential, and these guys are, top of the end, top of the rotation guys in the majors, aces, all-stars, what have you, you kind of look back on this game and say, hey, this is a pretty good moment in time. Chase Burns, some of the stuff that he's doing, I mean, he's averaging over his last 4 or 5 starts, close to 20 strikeouts per 9 innings. Let that sink in. That's what he's averaging.
Yeah.
His last 4 or 5 starts, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's something like at least 13 strikeouts in each of those games. He's had 12 games with double-digit strikeouts, struck out 16 against Clemson. This guy is unreal, to the point where Tom Walter, Wake's head coach, has gone on the record and said he's the best pitcher I've seen. And, oh, by the way, I saw Paul Skeens up close because he ended our season a year ago. The question for Wake is, okay, you got Chase Burns. Do you have enough pitching around him? And it's a significant question. They thought going into the season they had one of the best weekend rotations, if not the best, in the country. Well, Massey, one of their starters, has been battling an injury. He's now in the bullpen. It's made their bullpen stronger, which has been better of late. And then Josh Hartle, who was terrific last year with Sean Sullivan and Brett Lauder, he's had the propensity to give up the home run. You're playing in a ballpark that lends itself to home runs. He's had some big innings that have gotten to him a few times this year, and the numbers don't look that great. So they haven't been as great on the mound, I think, as we saw. But offensively, 1 through 7 in that lineup, oh my gosh, they can mash. And, I'm seeing Chase Burns going as high as 2 or 3 in some mock drafts. They got Nick Kurtz and Seaver King, who are also first-round prospects. This is a regional where with Savage and the 3 guys from Wake, we could be talking about 4 of the top 15 picks in the draft.
Crazy. I want to ask you a quick Panthers question. Obviously, with OTAs going on a couple weeks ago, Bryce Young feels like it'll be better just to kind of have one voice in his ear this year, so to speak. Do you think the offense can build to accentuate his strengths, and is there enough of a supporting cast that he'll have a little bit of a bounce back year?
I think we're all hoping for it. We all want to believe that. The reality is, I think last year there was probably a little bit of a miscalculation in terms of how close this team was. And at the skill positions, listen, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Upgrades were needed, and they went out and they did that. Again, the early returns look good, but we're talking about OTAs. I think if we're being fair, as much as I want to, feed into it and say, hey, yeah, they're going to be a top 10, top 15 offense next year. I think everybody in Panther Nation right now is sort of like, okay, we sort of jumped in last year and the calculus was off. Let's wait and see. But I do think alignment of thought, alignment of philosophy, that stuff will help Bryce Young. What they tried to do last year on paper, team of rivals, let's get these coaches from different philosophical trees. Let's blend it together. In theory, on paper, if it works, that sounds like a great idea. It's something new, and maybe you come up with something. They just could never do that. So now they've kind of gone back and said, okay, let's get people who have been through the system. Let's get guys that Canales is familiar with, that Dan Morgan has worked with and can align with, and let's get everybody on the same page. I think a young quarterback needs that. We want to bounce back from Bryce Young, but at the same time, maybe it was just being a rookie and being a rookie quarterback in the NFL, not having as much as you thought you were going to have going in. And then you throw in injuries, especially on the offensive line, and then we saw how things ended up. So I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I think they'll be a lot better than they were last year. But I think before we make any bold proclamation, we got to let this play out a little bit.
Hey, Anish, thank you very much. Enjoy the regional, and hopefully we'll get a chance to get you back on sometime soon before minicamp and all of that begins. Hopefully talk some more Panthers.
Anytime. You got it, guys. See you.
All right, there he goes, Anish Shroff. Nice to have him on. Let's get a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Mike Mullis. He'll be on the radio with Scotty Rogers this weekend. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock as the Pirates and Purple Aces do battle. Mully Thursday when we come back.
Ready to save thousands with a great rate? Get 0% financing at Greenville Toyota during the Great Rate Sales Event. Shop our massive inventory of new Toyotas, available as low as 0%. Hurry to Greenville Toyota today, where our volume saves you money.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Dum-dum-dum. Get low, get low, get low. 369, ooh, she fine. Hoping she can sing it to me one more time. Get low, get low, get low, get low.
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild. When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
New Toyotas, 0 down and only $369 a month at Greenville Toyota during the Great Rate Sales Event. Buy with 0% or get Corollas, $369 a month with 0 down. This is not a lease, you own it. Plus, get our Greenville Advantage at Greenville Toyota.
Have you noticed he's in his own little happy hour? We're back to the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
This is the Happy Hour program.
Here's the P-Man.
Okay, thanks to Anish Shroff for being with us. We'll now get the analysis perspective as we have with us on the phone our friend Mike Mullis. Mully is going to be with the ECU Sports Network this weekend in the regional, and looking forward to hearing Mike commentate alongside Scotty Scooter Rogers on the radio. I think Mike will be dynamite in that role. Hey, Mully, great to have you on. I think Pilk's going to try to get you tomorrow after the game for the show, since I'll be out. Just a little FYI for you. And compared to where you were, but before you were this time last year, slumming it with me, you've upgraded. So this is an upgrade. You're now in the regional, baby. So you're upgraded.
Look, man, I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I would say any chance to spend time with my buddy PJ. It's certainly not slumming, but yeah, look, it's exciting, and it's exciting to be, as part of the team with Scooter and being up there and being able to maybe be a little more slanted towards the Pirates than we can sometimes do with the ESPN broadcast, because we have to be careful of that. But I'm looking forward to talking Pirate baseball all weekend.
Well, let's start with Zach Root, going to be the starter tomorrow. What are you looking for out of the left-hander?
The thing that he said that gives me the most optimism is the line he had about, and I'm paraphrasing, how he really likes the big game. And, we saw him last year at a regional. He's certainly capable. It's all going to be, condition and his health and, just being ready to compete in that environment. But I'm certainly optimistic and think we'll get a good outing. Not sure how long of an outing, not sure that he knows, but I can't wait to see him out there.
What is a successful outing for Root?
I think, anything 80 to 85 north of that would be really, really surprising. And I think he's more than capable. Obviously, we've seen him do it. Just, again, it's all going to be, based on where he's at right now. If he can, if he can get the club into the fifth and maybe even through the fifth, I think you've certainly had got a workman's effort out of him, and then you turn it over to the pen and see what they can do the rest of the way. So, I think that's about what we could hope for, and who knows, he may go out there and, he may dial this thing up to the seventh or eighth. You just don't know with a guy coming off of a little fatigue and injury. But, he's going to pitch the contact early, just like he did last weekend, just like we've seen him do forever. And if he goes out there and has a quick first and can kind of parlay that into just staying on schedule the rest of the way, I think it's reasonable to think we can get him through 5. And again, that'd be a great day.
Mike Mullis with us. Mully will be on the call this weekend along with Scott Rogers of Regional Baseball for the Pirates in Greenville here on 94.3 The Game and the IBX Media app. 12:45 tomorrow, 1 o'clock first pitch, thereabouts, and you can listen to it on 94.3 The Game and the IBX Media app. Mike, let me ask you a little bit about Trey Savage. What's the update on Trey?
You listen to him talking, it's business as usual. He's ready to go. Which, man, you got to love that confidence. I don't think Trey's the kind of guy. He's kind of a man of few words and doesn't really mix those words. So I think, again, I expect good things. Very similar to Root to me. If he could go out and give you anywhere around 100, it's been a good day. If he can get north of that, and we've seen him routinely go into the 110 range, maybe even a little more, it's been a good day. Now, I will say the difference potentially with, if everything holds serve and we line up with Wake, that's a very patient offensive team. So that will be a big part of the storyline and have a lot to do with, with how deep Trey can go. He's a big strikeout guy, obviously, facing a fairly patient team. That equals, pitch counts that get up pretty quick. So, but of course, as Coach Godwin, everybody would say, let's get through Evansville first. And I will tell you, just in talking with their folks and then having the opportunity to watch them a little bit today, that they're not they're a little ticked off that they're in here as a 4. They are, coming off of a conference tournament where they run ruled their first 3 opponents, and they definitely have the ability to swing the bat. They've got, I've drawn a blank on his name. I've got so many notes written down, but they've got the, every good drama needs an antagonist, and they've got a player that kind of prides himself on being the nitty gritty, kind of do whatever's got to be done. And so I expect that will evoke some emotion from the Clark and Clare faithful. So, I think there'll be a lot of drama and a lot of interesting little tidbits tomorrow. Probably none bigger than the fact that their guy that's going is their guy who's the conference pitcher of the year in their conference. But he's a freshman, and they like his poise. They like what he's about. But I don't know if he's ever faced anything quite like he'll face tomorrow.
Yeah, Mike Mullis with us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. It's a Mully Thursday. Mike, with the Pirate offense, you have Carter Cunningham kind of struggled down in Clearwater. The team really, and I know they had that 12-run inning against Rice, but sans that, it seemed like it was a real chore to score consistently and throughout the game. And it seems like maybe that's been the case for the last several weeks. Tough to reset in a regional, but do you get the sense that maybe the at least from an offensive standpoint, this has given ECU a chance to maybe sort of refocus and lock back in?
Look, man, baseball memory is less than 24 hours typically, right? Like, so you finish a game and, you got one the next day, and you can either celebrate or lament, whichever one suits, until about midnight. So these guys have had, 7 midnights or 6 midnights to get past anything that might not have been how they wanted to go down in Clearwater. And I'm sure they've had a very good week of practice and preparation. And let's face it, man, Carter's just too good of a hitter to not be what we know him to be. I think you and that goes up and down. You're right. It was a little bit vanilla down there, but I expect to see some big things. And I also will tell you, I expect to see Coach Godwin, again, go full throttle and gas pedal down. And there's no telling, much like what we saw when, he was managing the offense against Texas and quite frankly, other teams we've seen in postseason play where all the small ball work comes into the picture and could be a big part of the differentiator for the Pirates' success.
Well, and it's interesting you brought that up. Pirates kind of small balled Texas a little bit. Do you think the team will have the teams they're playing? Have they seen something that, like East Carolina does? I guess Evansville might be more apt. I don't know, but I mean, can what East Carolina presents, could it be trouble for these teams?
I will tell you that I think the biggest difference for Evansville specifically is they may have seen teams that play small ball that, are aggressive on the pass. I'm sure they've seen that. I don't know that they've seen a team with the team speed that this one has. And, the top to bottom, save maybe, the catchers, and maybe one other, it's all plus team speed at the college level. I mean, these guys can really run. So, whereas maybe in conference, you could have just filled the bunt and kind of maybe pat it once and then fired over and, still get the guy by a half step. That pat in this situation is going to be the difference. And I'm certainly not saying they haven't played good baseball. Obviously, they have beaten Indiana State, which is the most marquee, kind of most recent win that they've had. And everybody knows how Indiana State season has gone. A lot of comparisons to East Carolina, but it's the team speed thing is such a big deal. And that is one of the biggest jumps for players when they go up a level or up against a better opponent or maybe a more talented opponent is when you see the athleticism and again, speed is obviously a big part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Mike Mullis here. Let's talk about the two teams on the other side of the bracket. You mentioned Evansville a little bit. Let's get your read on Wake Forest, who I think a lot of people are hoping that the Demon Deacons and the Pirates will match up on Saturday.
Yeah, it's funny. That's in talking with their folks. I was like, you know what? It would kind of be nice if we could guarantee this game. Like, everybody, and I mean not just everybody in Greenville, but the baseball world is hoping to see a Burns-Savage matchup. And I mean, who wouldn't? But that team is more than Chase Burns. They've got three guys that are very highly thought of as potential Major League Baseball first rounders. So I mean, they're good. They've had some struggles, and kind of ironically, their bullpen situation sounds very similar from the standpoint of not anything's in play and not real sure which way they will go past a couple moves. And they've got guys that look high velocity guys. We'll see a lot of 94 to 96 with these guys, but it's the ability to command it. The secondary stuff, those are the things that come into question for Wake Forest bullpen. So they like their frontline arms. They like their, they got one of the best hitters in the country at first base, and Nick Kurtz. It's going to be a solid baseball club. I like everybody as a fan, although I will be working, but as a fan, I surely would love to see Saturday night at Clark LeClair Stadium is Savage versus Burns, and both of them going at each other. Another little interesting footnote in just the conversation, Burns is also a guy that kind of maxes out right around 100 pitches. They are very, very careful with him. So that could be a big part of the storyline. Another reason being, he's a big strikeout guy with the power stuff up to 100 miles an hour. Says you'll probably see 100 6 or 8 times out of his arm. So, but that's a big deal. You do we get into a game where we're 0-0 in the sixth-ish and both teams turn it over to the pins, and it's a battle of the pins, and it may be a very interesting game from the standpoint of almost two different styles of baseball played in one game.
So VCU won 6 in a row, beat their hated rivals Richmond, and that's after dropping taking 2 of 3 against them to close the regular season. Beat them twice in the tournament. We're going to play the Pirates in Greenville. Tried to get that done on 3 different occasions this year, and Mother Nature would not cooperate. What do you when you look at this VCU team? one thing you could say, they're playing their best baseball right now.
No, their coaching staff will tell you they are very confident right now, and that's scary, right? A confident club. I mean, that knows that they're capable and believes that they can win, and they faced some higher caliber competition through their season. So, solid club. I've said this before. Sometimes when you say a team is, kind of an old school, dirtbag type team, you're saying that they're not very talented, and that's not at all. This team is going to play the game really, really hard, and they're talented. They're gonna have team speed similar to what we've gotten used to seeing with East Carolina. They've got a couple frontline arms, one of which their guy will be going against Wake Forest tomorrow night. So this is a very interesting regional from the standpoint of I do believe there's a lot of parity in it. I do believe there's some direct lines of similarities that could be drawn between each club. I will tell you again, everybody I've talked to said, hey, we really like our front line guys, but, our bullpen. So I think we kind of continue the theme that we've had all season. It's kind of a race to the pen. The only team in the country, or one of the very few that I know that just can't wait to get their bullpen in, is Duke, and obviously their closer will give them a 3-inning save. So you're only having to manage 6 innings of baseball. So I think that's going to be that's where the tale's going to be told. That's provided all the frontline guys do what they're all kind of heralded to do, and what we all as fans and members of the media expect them to do. And if that holds serve, then it's going to be, these games could be won and lost in the bullpens.
All right, Mully, what you mentioned the bullpens. What else do you think it comes down to for the Pirates, at least tomorrow, to win the game?
Take care of the baseball. Look, for Root and strike one. Get out, get ahead. It puts him in a position to be able to pitch his game. Taking care of the baseball. We've seen these little spurts and of kind of letdowns defensively, clearly against the quality of clubs that are here and what the Pirates will potentially face for the rest of their season, however long it may be. You can't give up free outs. So taking care of the baseball is going to be a big deal. Not just for East Carolina, but for the entirety of the field. And strike one, and then just productive quality, almost mean at bats to where you got to win this pitch, and you got to keep that singular focus. And look, I think I don't think it's a proven fact that Pirate Nation, Clark or Claire, will be will play a part in this. The fan base, the noise, the fact that you got the Jungle Crew a little ticked off because they can't take the megaphones in. So I'm sure they'll figure out some creative ways to make their presence known. So I look forward to a great weekend of baseball right now, as the forecast would have it. Everything looks lovely. It's certainly beautiful today, and man, it's just going to be a great weekend at the ballpark.
Look, I understand the passion and all that, but I mean, I guess the fans have to have something to gripe about, right? So,
well, listen, the megaphone crew is as big a part of this baseball program as Welcome to the Jungle, or as big a part as this athletic program is as Purple Rain. They certainly have had an impact and a bearing over this program, and the care and love that they put into it, and the fact that we are at home. But what people have to realize, and I'm glad this conversation went this way, PJ. What people have to realize is the Pirates are at home. Absolutely. We are in Greenville, North Carolina, 100%. This facility for this weekend belongs to the NCAA. And
correct.
Whatever they mandate, whatever they say, it's their deal. I can promise you, just from our standpoint, and obviously I'm no industry professional like you are, I've already learned a lot about kind of how things go up there. And quite frankly, our normal booth now has a big sign on it that it says NCAA personnel only. So I mean, it's they came in, and it's for all practical purposes. It is their ballpark the rest of the way. Something the fans will probably notice is some of the outfield signage will be covered because of the NCAA doesn't allow gambling, to be advertised, or alcohol products. So there'll be some. When I was out today, they were covering up some of that signage, and I was like, whoa, what are they changing the signs? Just, clean them up. No, it's the, NCAA doesn't allow it. So, right now they're Airbnb in our house, and they're kind of in control. So everybody be patient and understand that this certainly, a lot of the decisions that will be made this week have very, very little to do with any of the teams that are playing, and everything in the world to do with decisions made by the NCAA. And quite frankly, as of late, we've seen some interesting decisions come from that crowd. So, but hey, look at it this way: for those that were really ticked off in Clearwater, at least they're in the AAC. So, it's maybe there's a positive there.
Gives you a little bit of a dress rehearsal last week to this week, I guess. All right, Mully, looking forward to the call tomorrow. Looking forward to hearing you and Scott. And I know it's going to be a great weekend for you. Enjoy.
Buddy, y'all have a good one at teeing up there, calling the state championship, and good luck to South Central and their crowd as they try to bring one home to Pitt County.
There you go. Thank you, Mully. Appreciate it.
Talk to you soon, buddy.
A timeout, and here's Dom Kasolki. Let's go to Dom right now. He'll do a sports update for us and Pirate Report. Got a lot of ECU news, including some kickoff times announced for Pirate football. Come back, have some more audio from Coach Godwin and Zach Root. But right now, here is Dom Kasolki with a 94.3 The Game Sports Flash update.
I think we're going to lose.
No, Dom.
Thank you, Patrick. The kickoff times for East Carolina football season in 2024 have been announced. Game 1 is set for August 31st, starting at 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. Other early season games consist of an away game at Old Dominion at 6 p.m. on September 7th, a home matchup versus App State at 4 p.m. on September 14th, an away game at Liberty at 6 on the 21st of September, and a home game against UTSA on September 28th with no start time announced to that one. The Greenville Regional starts tomorrow with ECU versus Evansville at 1. Zach Root will get the start, and here's what he had to say about his approach for tomorrow's game.
We're going to go out there and enjoy. We're going to have a pitchers meeting before the game and really dive in on Evansville, and I'll just be thinking about what the approach is for all the hitters, and just in my catch play and pregame bullpen, I'm just work on executing what the plan is.
Make sure to tune in on 94.3 The Game to listen to Scooter Rogers and Mike Mullis on the call, pregame at 12:45 and first pitch at 1. ECU men's basketball squad has officially signed guards Jashane Woodard, Jordan Riley, and Julian Samaro, and forwards Trevion LeBeau and C.J. Walker. Jackson Ellingsworth, the Wes Carteret product who spent one season in Greenville as a preferred walk-on before playing JUCO ball in Florida last season, has transferred to UT Arlington. Ellingsworth averaged 22 points and over 10 rebounds as a senior at West, and the 6'9" forward averaged over 17 points per game at Gulf Coast State last season. South Central will play for a state championship in baseball as the Falcons take on East Rowan tomorrow evening in Holly Springs in the 3A Championship Series. Green Central Baseball is playing in the 2A Series, and Northside is playing for a 1A state championship in baseball and softball this weekend. And the NBA playoffs continue with Dallas Mavericks traveling to Minnesota for Game 5. The Mavs lead 3-1 and are looking for the gentleman's sweep to earn a spot in the finals against the Boston Celtics starting June 6th. That'll do it for your sports update. Let's send it back to a quick break, and then we'll go back to Patrick Johnson on 94.3 The Game.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-9. Download the new IBX Media app now and get the show for your ears and eyes.
Doesn't it look great on me?
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Okay, we have a lot to get to here still, thanks to Mike Mullis and Anish Shroff. Kind of a breakneck pace. Nice job by the one and only Dom Kasolki there.
I think we're going to lose.
On the updates, and he's also on the ones and twos today. Hey, so we have Pirate baseball tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We have our concert on the Common going on at the top of the hour. And it's going to be interesting because we've got a Dave Matthews tribute band playing tonight. Now, if you talk about music in my era, Dom, you're a young guy, right? You're a college-age fella.
I am a college-age fella.
If you talk about like 15 to 16 through my college years, Dave Matthews was enormous.
You kind of upset you can't see it?
Well, I could have gone, but I just have, it takes a lot to get me away from the working man's beach, Dom.
Such a busy man. Or you're just a working man?
I am, so that's why I'm at the working man's beach, right?
Work is just more important than anything else.
But I would have loved to have gone, and I hope we'll have them back. Now, this is a great band that is playing tonight, so There'll be a lot of food trucks, lots of beverages. It'll be a lot of fun. Last night, they celebrated the legacy of Commissioner Mike Oresco, his final conference meeting today. And we'll try to get Oresco on sometime in the next few weeks before he officially retires. Would love to try to work that out. Pirate baseball or football has announced some kickoff times and TV designations for upcoming games, particularly the slate in September to open the season. Norfolk State, 6 o'clock, ESPN Plus for the home opener on the 31st of August. On the 7th, it'll be a trip to Norfolk and Old Dominion, a 6 o'clock kick. That's also a Plus game. And App State at 4 on the 14th of September on the U. In Greenville, at Liberty on the 21st, and that will be on a to-be-designated ESPN network. Could be Plus, could be a linear channel at Liberty, and then the Army game will be on an ESPN network. The Florida Atlantic game, which is a Thursday, has been designated for either ESPN or ESPNU, and the game at Tulsa, also a Thursday game, has been designated as a 7:30 game on ESPN in November. So those kick times and TV designations have been formally announced. Let's hear now from Coach Cliff Godwin in a Pirate report for you as he today, along with Zach Root, spoke to the media. In fact, let's start with Zach Root. Sorry about that, Dom. And he talked about his excitement about starting in a regional.
It's a great feeling, I get the chance to go out there and set the tone for the rest of the weekend.
And talked about his mindset for the game tomorrow. This is Zach Root.
Going to go out there and enjoy. We're going to have a pitchers meeting before the game and really dive in on Evansville, and I'll just be thinking about what the approach is for all the hitters, and just in my catch play and pregame bullpen, I'm just work on and executing what the plan is.
Will he have extra nerves? Zach Root says, I'll be juiced, but
I love the big crowds, and I'm just going to enjoy being out there.
Says he has been frustrated by not being able to play, and that kind of flies in the face of some of the rumor mongering going on out there.
It's definitely frustrating, to say the least, just watching the guys out there, and obviously could use me here and there, just like with Shankman, Hunter, and Savage not being out there, and just watching them. We're already a thin bullpen, and losing Jake and Shank, it's just been tough, but just trusting the process and working with Logan, our athletic trainer, and Kevin Youngs, and just not rushing it so I can be full for this game.
Says he feels back to normal.
It was great going out there and the thumb just feeling back to normal, and just going to carry it in this game.
And what the atmosphere will feel like.
The only thing I can compare it to is a game against NC State or UNC when it was packed, but I wholeheartedly believe that it's going to be way better than that.
And the Pirate crowd, this is Zach Root on them.
It's amazing. Hear them behind you on a big pitch. It just gets me fired up and just helps me elevate my game.
All right, this is Cliff Godwin now. He talked about how the team has practiced this week.
Guys were business as usual, so Tuesday was light, a little bit longer practice yesterday, and then of course today is a very short NCAA mandated practice, but thought our guys have done a good job with this week.
And more from Cliff, who says that the Pirates, it'll be big to have Root pitch in the conference tournament before he takes the mound tomorrow.
Huge for him to go out there 3 innings, and for the first 2 he's really sharp. His bullpen was really good this week. I mean, looking back, normal. So he feels good, and we're excited for him to go out there and take the ball tomorrow night.
And says that the Pirates are getting healthy at the right time.
We're almost back to 100%, so that's a good thing. We're getting healthy at the right time, so we're definitely thankful for that.
And talks about the atmosphere he anticipates at Clark LeClaire Stadium.
And we've played a couple games this year that have been sellouts already. I mean, you think about the North Carolina game, NC State game. I'm probably missing a game or 2 in there, but our fans have been tremendous all year. It'll be a little bit extra juice, I'm sure, which is awesome. And like I posted on social media, is get those purple and gold chants going early and often.
All right, and Cliff giving an update on Trey Savage, short and sweet.
He's doing great, feels great. Threw a bullpen yesterday, looks good, so he'll be ready to go this weekend.
Talks about Parker Bird being an inspiration.
What that young man's been through over the past 2 years, and just what he's able to do today compared to, I guess it's about 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years ago. So he's an inspiration to our guys. He's an inspiration to many amputees across the country, and he just shows up and goes to work every day and is just trying to get better. And of course, he's an inspiration to our guys in the dugout.
All right, and more from Coach Godwin here as he talks about the Evansville Purple Aces.
They're experienced, they're older offensively. Obviously, the lefty that's throwing has really good numbers, and he's done a really good job. They're well coached. They're not going to be intimidated by the environment or us, so it'll be a great game, and we're looking forward to going out there and competing.
All right, that's some audio. We're taking a timeout. We'll come back and wrap things up, get you set for the weekend, and much more on the other side.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience.
Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
Let's go! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Football time!
Set the tone. Kyle, tie your shoes, tie your shoes. Yeah, good job. Woo! Yeah!
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
And now, the stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
All right, tomorrow, Steve and I go at high noon with Hoist the Colors Radio here on 94.3 The Game. And then at 12:45, it will be Scooter and Mullis bringing you coverage on the ECU Sports Network of Pirate Baseball against the Purple Aces of Evansville. And that is coming your way tomorrow at 1 o'clock, again at 12:45 airtime. Following the game or at 5 o'clock, whichever comes first, Philip the Ref Pilkington will be in with the Patrick Johnson Show, a post-game wrap of ECU. Mike Mullis will be on. I'm sure others will too. We'll hopefully have some post-game wrap and audio for you. I will be away all weekend at the Ting Ballpark up in Holly Springs, as the South Central Falcons will vie for Pitt County's 12th state championship in baseball as a county, as the coach of Conley, Coach Mills, will be with me, and we'll be calling the games for the NFHS network. Jason Mills and I will have that for you. So 5 o'clock tomorrow, South Central plays. After the ECU game, you can log on to NFHS Network and watch the Falcons in Game 1 against a very good East Rowan team, a team that is looking for its third state championship all time. So that's a best-of-3 series. The two teams will have a guaranteed game the next morning at 11 a.m. So looking forward to some high school baseball. Northside, and you got a father-son duo there, the father coaching Coach Parker on the softball team after coaching baseball all these years, and Coach Parker coaching the baseball team for Northside out of Beaufort County. They are playing for a state championship. They'll also be at Ting Stadium, and they'll be taking on the defending state champs URE Charter out of the Asheboro area, and Millsy and I will have those games for you as well. So that kind of sets the table. Looking forward to a great weekend of baseball and great weather. It's going to be just gorgeous and get a little cool tonight, but it'll be great. In fact, great weather this evening for the Dave Matthews Tribute Band. That concert going on as part of our Concert on the Common. You can register to win tickets to other great concerts. There'll be great tents out there with our sponsors, food trucks galore, all kinds of beverages, including cold beer. So head on out to that. All right. Great of you to be with us here this afternoon. Thanks to Anish Shroff for joining us here. And he'll be on the call of the games this weekend for ESPN and ESPN Plus in Greenville. Thanks to Mike Mullis, also a Mully Thursday with him. Again, Pilk will have a wrap for you tomorrow in this slot. Looking forward to that. Great job by Dom Kosolki today. And Dom used the phrase gentleman sweep.
I think we're going to lose.
So that might be your new one, Dom. Gentleman sweep. That was really good on your part.
Oh, I
was proud of
appreciate
you
it.
there, buddy.
Yeah, I mean.
You made me proud.
Getting used to the writing the scripts now. I'm writing some of it. You got your parts.
Well, I just try to pitch in, give you a few ideas.
You just help out a little bit. But actually, Philip's having a special guest tomorrow as well. He's having a really cool producer. He's sitting in here with me right now. It's Dominic Kosolki. He's a pretty cool guy. So he's going to produce tomorrow. And,
Okay.
You haven't been shouting him out, so I was just waiting for that shout-out.
I just shouted you out. I said you did a great job with the gentleman's sweep.
Oh, yeah, you shouted.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just saying you're promoting tomorrow's show without the main producer.
Oh, I'll be honest. I didn't know who was producing tomorrow. So
well, you should assume
it's going to the game. Has Pilk weaseled his way into going to the game? Is that
we are both going to the game.
Oh, you are. Okay.
Well,
who's producing the game?
Isaac is producing. I can't.
Sir Isaac is producing the game.
So
okay.
Friday is the only game I could produce because I'm starting Tarboro Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Oh,
so,
okay. All right.
So it's going to be a busy weekend of baseball for everyone. So I'm excited.
Okay. Well, we're about to wrap it up here, it looks like. So
Yeah,
nice to have everybody along today. Enjoy the weekend and go Pirates. And we'll be back Monday, depending on if this regional is still going on or not in some form or fashion with the Patrick Johnson Show. I'll see you in the morning on Talk of the Town, and then back here Monday for the PJ Show. Have a great and safe weekend, everybody. Pilk will be in tomorrow.